Hello, everyone. So we are part 3B or part 3, part 2 of number 3 of, the hook and the opening line, opening sentence. So I'm kind of excited about this and see if we can get some good ideas rolling here. All right, here we go. So the hook. Again, this is that introductory paragraph, but basically we're really talking about that first sentence that's going to hook you into the entire chapter. So this needs to have that attention-grabbing hook piece. Again, the hook pulls in the reader into the first chapter. That first sentence gives everybody a hint about what the topic's going to be, how you're going to be enticed into reading, all of that. So there's a few ways that you can hook some people. Again, by using a question, dropping the reader into the middle of a story, use a quote, use emotional connection, and make a surprise statement. There's more, but let's start there. Questions. Many of us take the bait when we read a question because, like, when we're surfing the internet, social media, we start to go, yeah, I've done that. Or, ooh, I wonder what that answer is. Oh, I wonder what they're going to say to that. So if you've seen something like, how many times have you, why do you, or where can you go for? So these things start to pull us all in. Questions can create connection and curiosity. So just kind of play with it and see where the reader takes it. These are really good to do like on your social media feeds, Facebook, Instagram. Start putting down some first sentences that maybe have a question to see who takes the bait and hook. Okay? It's a great way to kind of experiment without letting them know, hey, I'm writing my first sentence of my book. Can you answer this and see what I think or what you think about it? You just start and see if you get response. That'll help to tell you if you're not getting any responses on that, maybe don't use that. If suddenly something starts flooding, you're like, wow, I wrote a question almost 2 weeks ago that I'm still getting responses on. So yeah, I'm taking that question. I'm putting it somewhere as well because obviously it hooked people in. So that's cool. This is something really fun to do as a writer is you drop people right into the middle of a scene. And they're just like, whoa. I'm a Harry Potter fan, so bear with me. Like when Harry Potter gets dropped in, when he puts his face into the pensive and suddenly he's put into a scene of a memory from, one of the teachers or whatever, who's ever in the pensive. But he's just dropped into this scene and his brain is trying to figure out, okay, who's this character? Who's this person? Who's this person? That's what your reader does too. But not out of frustration, but out of real curiosity. So it keeps them reading to figure out till they can solve the problem. Just as a hint, many readers are incredibly smart. They're there for a reason and for a purpose. And so if you're always candy feeding them everything, they're going to get bored. So kind of challenging them a little bit without getting them frustrated, that's the hook you want to do to pull them in. So here are some examples of mine. Slice came the sound of the sharp knife as it ran through the tomato. Okay, she's cutting up a tomato. That would have been pretty boring if I would have said she's cutting a tomato. But that sound of slice, and you're thinking slicing what? Oh, okay, tomato, right? It's that idea of pulling you in. Here's another one where I actually drop you into the middle of a scene. Click, click, and click. My eyes connected with my 3 boys as I buckled them quickly into place. Why did I need to buckle them into place? What's happening? Is there a fire? Is someone chasing after them? Does she have to get away from something? Like, what's happening? Your brain starts to kind of think about these things. And this is a starting sentence. So I started off some of my books. And so anyway, kind of interesting. All right, quotations. They're good too. They use quotations kind of usually as a header or a plate that gives you kind of the theme, background information about what the chapter is going to be about. That's totally fine. But it can work if it's just not overdone, okay? Because there are quotes that are really powerful, very, very familiar. Some of them, wow, they've got that research and that depth. Others, they help to summarize what the chapter is going to be about. So again, this is just another option. Emotional connection. Please, 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 the more you can emotionally connect with your reader, the more the reader is going to invest within you and benefit from what it is that you're going to say. So, if your piece is not this action pass, you're running for your life, really it's a lot of reflection, that's fine. You can still connect emotionally with that reader. So you also want to show the characters, the response. You can do that, a lot of that in dialogue and conversation. So many things can be expressed that way. And that's real showing without a lot of telling. Because when you see how the conversation works, and as the writer puts, a little bit of body language, like blew through her bangs or cocked down one hip, that stuff really starts to pull in the attitude and the emotional connection. So hook your people in with a very personal story, and they're going to be right there with you. The surprise statement, sometimes this is kind of fun to do. Start with a little bit of controversy or something that's not expected, and have them read through and go, okay, that's what you mean, right? Yeah, those things are good. Or a hook that your readers, maybe they're not expecting, but all of a sudden they'll understand what the rest of the book is about. This is one of my favorite ones from Jane Austen. Yes, I know. I'm a Pride and Prejudice geek, but there you go. So this was written in 1813. This is the first sentence of her book, Pride and Prejudice. Ready? It's a universal truth. It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of good fortune must be in want of a wife. So there you go. Somebody's going to have a lot of money. Somebody's looking for a wife. How is this going to play out? But see, it was done in such a way that's kind of fun. So the statements, it really frames the rest of the novel, and readers are going to be like, well, what's going to happen next? Now, I know you're not really writing fiction, but think about the story that you have. Is there something of a surprise that you could put in there? It's just something, again, to think about. Okay, now it's your turn to start practicing some of these hooks. Again, putting things down, figuring out with what could pull people in. The last little video training we talked about was for your title. This is really for that first opening sentence of paragraph, like how are you going to pull them in? All right, I think that is everything. So again, let me know if you have any questions. You've seen scrolling underneath here my email address, and I'm just happy to help however I can. We'll see you guys